Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt here with Tanks Lawn Maintenance. It's currently 7:59 a.m. Wednesday morning, September the 24th, 2025th year of our Lord. And man, I got a spider web in my truck that I done got into. I'm sitting in my driveway right now. I'm just hanging out for a second before I head to the gas station to get my drinks and my snack for the day. I ain't got much on the list today. I've got 7 today, 7 tomorrow, and 3 Friday. And I'm gonna try to squeeze it all in 2 days. It's not much. It's 17 properties altogether. I'm gonna try to get as much as I can done today before 5:30. My boys got a game at 7, and it's on the other side of town. I need to get on home, and he's got a soccer game. I need to get on home and get cleaned up and everything before 5:30, so I can have time to get cleaned up and get to the other side of town to have him at his game in time, and so I can sit there and watch it, and but I should be able to get 9 or 10 done today by 5:30. I've got this video is a rant, more or less. It seems like I've done that a lot this year, mainly about the weather and shit tearing up on me. But this is a rant, but I've also got a question too. And any of you dealers, people that own dealerships out there that may be watching this, I got a question for you, man. Why? And I don't know everything, and I don't claim to know everything. Your business is, you do things the way you do for a reason. I completely understand that. But it doesn't make sense to me why every time I go to my dealership to drop something off, it's at least 2 weeks. They tell me it's at least 2 weeks before there's a return on it. And I'm just curious why. That's frustrating, man. It really is. And I know my dealership's not the only one. It's like that all over the country. And I get it, during the summer, small engine repair, the business picks up for small engine repair because of lawn and landscape and things like that, wear and tear on equipment, normal stuff. And but we're in September, things are winding down, and I get it, it's been a hard summer. People are bringing their stuff in for repairs and getting things tuned up and maintenanced up before they store it for the winter, all that good stuff. I completely understand all that. But help me understand why, no matter what, it's a minimum of 2 weeks. And now, granted, my dealership, sometimes they'll tell me two weeks, and it'll be before the week's over with, they'll call me and let me know that my machine is repaired, whatever it is. And for that, I'm thankful. I really am. But why? And I get why you would tell somebody 2 weeks. That way, they're not expecting it to be done the next day or something like that. I understand that. It gives you some time to work on stuff. But why? Most of the time, it is 2 weeks. And, I can understand a week because sometimes you have to wait on parts. You have to order parts. You have to wait for it to come in on a truck or UPS or FedEx or whatever it may be. And then you have to, you got to troubleshoot it. You got to wait on the part to get there because you don't want to order the wrong part. And then once it does get there, the mechanic has to finish working on what he's already working on and then get to that piece of equipment that the part just arrived for. I understand all that. And I can understand being a week out. 2 weeks, I can kind of understand. But still 2 weeks, that's kind of pushing it. But nobody really fusses about 2 weeks. I went to my dealership yesterday because the PTO clutch went out. And they told me a minimum of 3.5 weeks turnaround. And I looked at her. I said, 3.5 weeks? She said, yeah, it's busy. I said, you're so busy that you're 3.5 weeks out? I said, I've never came here and y'all told me 3.5 weeks. I said, y'all told me 2 weeks, and sometimes it winds up being 3 days. Why 3.5 weeks? She said, we're just busy. It's that time of year. People are bringing stuff in left and right. And she said, it's been like that all summer. And if she hadn't told me that it's been like that all summer, I wouldn't be upset. 3.5 weeks, and it's been like that all summer long. Now, I do know I had a problem with the Combi, the KM131, had a problem with it, and they told me it was going to be they told me 2.5, no, they told me just 2 weeks. And it wound up being almost a month where I haven't heard anything. I just went up there and told them, I said, give me my Combi. I'll order the carburetor off of Amazon and I'll fix it myself. I don't have time to wait this long. This is ridiculous. But is there an issue going on here with receiving parts? Or is it that dealerships are so cheap they don't want to hire more mechanics? I don't understand what's going on here. I really don't, because this is frustrating. It really is. Yeah, it's not their fault that my machine tore up. I completely understand that. But you're a small engine shop. It is your job to get this stuff turned around in a timely manner. I can take a car to an auto shop and have a brand new engine put in and have it back in a week. Why does it take 3.5 weeks to get a PTO clutch replaced on a lawnmower? Explain that. That's bad. That's, in my opinion, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry if this steps on anybody's toes or whatever. You know, it is what it is, guys. You need to do better. And I'm not going to name drop or anything like that, because they really have been the customer service has been top notch over the years. You know, here lately it's kind of gone downhill, but over the years they've been top notch, and I'm willing to give them a chance, you know, to try to right the ship, so to speak. But 3.5 weeks is shitty. That is shitty customer service. I'm sorry, man. You know, we need our equipment so we can make a living. And you're going to sit here and tell me it's 3.5 weeks? Dude, I get 1 week. That is understandable. 2 weeks is pushing it, but nobody's going to complain about 2 weeks because we get it. We understand. 3.5 weeks? Man, you're talking about damn near a month. Come on, man. Why does it take that long? If it's taking you that long, and it's taking you that long all summer, you need to figure something out. You know, if it's because you're having trouble getting parts in, you need to start keeping parts on hand. Okay? If it's because you don't have the manpower, you need to get the manpower. Hire some mechanics. Because if you're that busy, business is that good, it's time for you to hire some more employees. Or you need to hire better mechanics. One of the two. Mechanics that can get out there, troubleshoot it, fix it, have it out the door in a timely manner, versus what you have right now. And I don't think it's because of the mechanics at my dealership. They've been good over the years. They really have. But you got to do better than that, man. 3.5 weeks, that's very frustrating. And like I said, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes in a dealership business, a small engine or a small equipment dealership. But I do know customer service, because I am in the customer service industry. And I do know that when it comes to giving good customer service, you got to do whatever it takes. And up front, you're going to take a hit if you have to hire employees. But sooner or later, it's going to even itself back out, and you're going to be making more than you ever have. So you need to get with the program and get this stuff out. Do what it takes to get this stuff out in a minimum of 2 weeks. Because 3.5 weeks is unacceptable, man. And I'm praying, I really am. I'm praying that it's not going to take 3.5 weeks. I'm praying that it's only going to take a week and a half, 2 weeks. But this is very frustrating, man. This is the second time this has happened this summer. And another thing, too, if your employees don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, you need to do something about that employee immediately, as soon as you start having issues. When I bought that walker at my dealership, the sales rep that sold it to me told me at 100 hours to bring it in, they would do a hydro fluid change, and that would keep the warrant that would keep the warranty on the hydros valid. And he told me, he said it's covered by the warranty. He said it's free. I asked him about dropping the walker off whenever I picked up the 36 to have the clutch replaced, and they told me, I was telling them, I'd mentioned that so-and-so told me that it was included in the warranty, included in the purchase of the machine. And they said, no, you've got to pay for that. That's a separate charge. And I told them, I said, wait a minute now. I said, your employee sat here and told me that that's included with the purchase of the machine. I said, if I got to pay for it, I got to pay for it, but you need to honor what your employees say. I'm a business owner too, and if I have an employee that tells somebody that we're going to weed eat something because they don't want us to drive the mower over it, whether I want it done or not, we're going to weed eat it because that employee is a direct representation of me and my business. And it's the same way with your business. Y'all need to honor that. And they're like, well, that's not our problem. And I said, what do you mean it's not your problem? It's your employee that told me that. Well, there's a reason why that guy's not with us anymore. I said, okay. I told him, I said, I don't know what's going on here, but in the past year, y'all kind of gone downhill, man. Y'all need to sit back and do some reflection and get this thing right again, because this is bad for business. It really is. I mean, this is a bad look on y'all. And that's another thing, dealerships. Explain that. If your employee tells somebody that they're going to do something, are you going to wait to make the corrections and explain to the purchaser that that's not the way things work? Or are you gonna correct it immediately? Send out an email, text, call, whatever it may be. That's very deceptive. And like I said, I'm gonna give them some time to try to right this ship, man, because this has been a very good dealership over the years, and they're a trusted name in my area, and everybody goes to them, man. They're really good. They have been, but this past year has been, and it's been rough on us all. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's been rough on us all. You know, I don't know if weather affects them the way it does us, but it's been a rough year for a lot of people, me included. And I'm hoping that's the case with this dealership, because if this doesn't change and change fast, I'm going to start driving down the road 30 minutes to another dealership instead of driving down the road 15 minutes to this dealership. Simple as that. Because I believe in good customer service, okay? I believe in sticking by your employees and what they tell you, whether they knew that they made a mistake or not. If they made a mistake, you need to be upfront with that person, with that whoever they made the mistake to, okay? And correct it right then. Not let them go on thinking that this is the way things are and then changing it once the time comes. I call that bait and switch. But also, man, as far as turnaround on equipment repairs, man, you got to fix that, man. People got to have this equipment to make their living in. If they can't make their living, if you're impeding people's ability to make a living, they're going to take their business elsewhere. That's the way it works. It's simple as that. It's just like me cutting grass, okay? Cutting grass, cutting bushes. Somebody's got a party, a birthday party at their house coming up this weekend, and their lawnmower goes out while they're cutting the grass. They call me to see if I can handle it. If I can't, guess what? They're going to the next person. Simple as that. No fault of that customer. Is due to me not being able to get over there, and not really any fault of mine either. But the thing about it is, this is stuff that you can control. Hire you some employees, or either hire better employees, or keep the stuff on hand to where you can get it out and you're not at the mercy of these distributors. It's ridiculous, guys. 4 months, or I'm sorry, damn near a month, 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks. Come on, man. You got to do better than that. You're better than this. Dealerships, if you're watching this video, drop me a comment down below and let me know, please, because if I'm wrong, enlighten me, okay? I'm not perfect. I admit that I'm wrong a lot, but I'm open to being educated. I really am. So if that's the case, educate me, please. I need to know. And because when I questioned them about it yesterday, they couldn't give me a straight answer, or they couldn't give me an answer that made any sense. But anyways, guys, I hope y'all have an amazing day. Y'all drop me a comment down below. Do y'all deal with this too, man? Have y'all ever had somebody tell you it's going to be a 3.5 week turnaround and then turn around and tell you it's been like that all summer? Just curious, man. What do you do in these situations? Luckily, I do have the Turfmaster. I can get by with the Turfmaster as long as I need to. And most of my gates, I can fit that 42-inch walker in the gates. I do have a couple that I can't. But it is going to take extra time. And it's also going to cost me money too, because I've got to have somewhere to dump these grass clippings. I can't. This is a lot of grass clippings, guys. I mowed 10 yards yesterday and bagged every one of them. That's a lot of grass clippings. And that's a lot of trips to the dump. That's a lot of money spent at the dump. That's a lot. And it's costing me time. It's costing me money. But it is what it is. I've got to do what I got to do until I get my stuff back. That's not the customer's fault. But look, man, like I said, y'all drop a comment down below. Let me know if you've ever dealt with stuff like that from dealerships before. All you dealers down there, if you have an answer or an explanation or can enlighten me on this, please do. I'm open. I'd like to know. Everybody else, man, if you got something out of this video, let me know down below. If you didn't, tell me I'm stupid down below. I'm cool with that too. But either way, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch y'all on the next video. Till then, y'all keep cutting that grass and keep making that money. I'll let y'all. Bye.